The 2020 presidential election was historic for many reasons. Latinx communities saw the biggest increase in voters casting their ballot, with an almost 65% increase from the previous presidential election. However, the road from the Hispanic vote to the voting booth hasn't always been linear. My name is Ana Teresa Espinosa, and I will examine the Latino vote and how it has changed over the years. Dr. Jessica Retis is the director of the School of Journalism and the Bilingual Journalism program at the University of Arizona. She has done work all over the world, researching the Hispanic diaspora and striving to educate others on the Latinx communities.
When I receive my students in my classes, I start with the history of Latin Americans and Latin American immigrants in the United States. And I usually get the question from my students as of why I didn't learn this when I was in high school. And I think we have a very important opportunity there to improve the way we are preparing younger generations.
Although education is a major factor in how or why someone votes, the solution to educating the public does not have a single answer.
Well, first of all, you need to understand that Latinx communities are very diverse and very diverse in different levels, at different levels. Also, they are bilingual. So there will always be a need for them to be informed in Spanish because also the growth of immigrants in the United States. So information to better communicate with Latinos communities should be bilingually in a broad, larger sense of bilingualism, and it also varies in according to age, according to status, according to if they are U.S. born or foreign born, or if they are also the level of education as well, right? So there's no one monolithic explanation about access of information for Latinx communities. There are many different variables.
Despite all these factors, Latinx communities have continued to show up and vote. 2022 saw many things on the ballot. One of the main concerns for Latinx communities were abortion and inflation. But these issues have been on the ballot before. So what has changed?
Until last decade, the majority of the growth of Latinx populations were from Latinx communities were from U.S. born, so mainly immigrants. But the last 2 decades, it has been a huge change, and the growth of the U.S. Latinx communities were more for U.S. born Latinos, right? People that trace their origins in Latin roots but were born in the U.S. So that means that the younger generations are following the path of K-12 education, right? So we're seeing more U.S. born Latinx, whereas before in other decades were more foreign born Latinx communities, right? So this is also the response of the change of demographics in the entire country. And we are right now between 16-18% of the total population, and the group is going to grow until becoming the 25-30% of the population. That means that that change of the demographics is also being reflected in the change of the demographics of the student body at different levels.
These demographics have changed so much in the last few years. Not only is it a matter of education when voting, but a matter of eligibility to vote. Not only that, but access to voting has changed a lot as well. Although voting by mail has been an option before 2020, the pandemic made it a primary way of voting for many citizens. According to Pew Research, 51% of Latinos voted by mail in 2020, making it easier for their voices to be heard. So with so many changes in the last few years and all these great improvements, is there anything left to do?
Yes, as an educator, I think that we have still room to improve in different institutions. Yeah, the good news is that many institutions are becoming Hispanic service institutions. They're accredited Hispanic service institution, which means it's a federal recognition when you have at least 20% of the student body in your institution. That means that you get an institutional understanding that you need to better serve diverse communities. We can improve that in different four-year colleges and also community colleges. The most important work that needs to be done is in high schools and K to 12, I would say, where we need to improve diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging content in the curricula. And also we need to train the trainers into the understanding of the shifts of the demographics in the United States. We need to better prepare the educators of next generations, and that's, I think, is a huge challenge.
That wraps up this week's podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I would like to also say a thank you to Dr. Jessica Retis for sitting down with me and talking to me about this issue. Hope you all enjoyed.